Welcome to agent interview number 2. Here I talk with new addition to Epique Realty, Kyle Harris. Hey there, welcome to my epic journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you as always for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we are on the journey from 600 to 0 back to 600 plus and everything that falls in between. One of my favorite things about this journey is the ability to meet new people that I typically wouldn't have met before, and also have the ability to collaborate, whether it's across state lines, across the country, or just right here in the hometown of Las Vegas. So today, the great privilege of introducing my good friend Kyle Harris. How are you today, Kyle?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for showing up. Very excited to kind of get into this. Can you just give me like a brief background? How long you been in the business?
Yeah, been about 13 years. In July, it'll be 13 years, and yeah, bounced all around. Did a bunch of stuff, investment stuff, the REO world, traditional, new homes, kind of been all around. So yeah, saw Epic, and here I am.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty cool. It was a kind of a how we met was one of our partners, Steve Colino, had posted something on LinkedIn, I think.
Yep.
Wasn't it on on LinkedIn? And then I just saw it just said talk to Brandon DeVere.
Yeah.
You asked him a question, and you just said, hey, talk to Brandon, and we connected. I remember I was at downtown Summerlin, in the parking lot, like over by where kind of like Lazy Dogs is, but over in the corner, sitting there for, I think we planned on jumping on a call for 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then we ended up on there for over an hour, I think.
Yeah, it was at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, 90 minutes plus, but just a great, sometimes it takes a while for people to grasp what it is. And you seem to kind of get it really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I gravitated towards it immediately. I mean, I've been with so many different brokerages, and I was coming out of the investment world. I was working for a national brand in the investment space, and they had exited Las Vegas as a market. And I was like, I got to go back to traditional. I want to go back to my roots, just helping families find properties. The investment world is kind of the opposite of that. There's a lot of hardships and things going on in that world. And I was like, I don't want to be there anymore. I was looking kind of all over, had just moved my license to a company just to hold it there until I found I was looking for a forever home. I'm like, I need somewhere where I can be long term, that has the same vision that I do. That really wants to help their agents. But I had also abandoned like my whole sphere of influence. Like everything was gone. I was starting from the bottom. So I was like, I have nowhere to go. And when I saw Steve post, and he's like, all these benefits that Epic had to offer, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I need to know about this. So when I finally got you on the phone, because he was like, he's boots on the ground, he's in Vegas, you need to talk to him. And I'm like, all right, I'll take the 15 minutes or whatever. And then all of a sudden it turns into this huge conversation, and I'm just like, my mind was blown.
Yeah. And actually, I think in either middle of call you let me know, or like 15, 20 minutes in, you let me know that you had somebody else on the call, or you I think you brought them in.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wait, they need to hear it too.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I come from a real estate family. My mom, my aunt, been in the business for 20 plus years. My stepfather, he's in the mortgage industry. So we've always been kind of intertwined. And so I was like, I gotta get my mom on the phone. She needs to know about this. And I'm like thinking about, I just immediately, my mind started running. I'm like, I need to just tell everybody I know about this, because there's so many other agents that are just in the same spot that I am, and they don't know where to go, and they maybe just don't have the support, or they're in a transitionary period in their business as well, and they're just not getting what they need from their brokerage. So I was like, this is just, I need to let everybody know about this.
Yeah. So with that being said, have you ever been this passionate about, and I'm going to come back to another question here in a minute, but have you ever been this passionate about sharing a brokerage with somebody, and do you find it difficult at all?
No, never. And in fact, it's usually quite the opposite. Like, I've been a part of a lot of teams, so that's kind of made it easier. Like, the people that I've worked with in the past have been either really successful in the industry, or were really just open to helping others grow their business. So but that was more indicative of just the teams that I was on, not necessarily the brokerage. So I never would bash any brokerage or anything like that, but I've never gone out of my way to be like, hey, you need to be here at this brokerage. It's always kind of been like, hey, be part of this team.
Yeah.
Never the brokerage.
Yeah. Well, I actually recently just did a video on or an episode on like the responsibility now to share it, because after we just had PowerCon, it was a 3-day event, and as I was ending that day, I looked over to Chris, one of the co-founders. Like everybody kind of cleared out already, and I just said, you know what, I feel like a responsibility now to share this, because typically when you hear like this will change your life type deal, it's typically been tied to two different things, and it's usually rev share and stocks. Like those are two. Oh, we change your life by doing this. But as they were like dental, vision, like all this stuff started coming out that they were sharing, even the pet insurance, right? Like that is something that I don't think was on any other brokerage's radar,
No,
even close. But and people are like, oh, what does that have to do with real estate? Well, it has to do with like if they're caring about that kind of stuff, that means they're caring about the agent as a person,
right?
As opposed to the agent as someone who's going to continue to do transactions. So I felt like a complete urge to be like, man, they're caring about the people, and
Absolutely.
And so that's how I felt. Before these last 15 plus benefits that were released, when you first saw Steve made that post, like what was the thing that made you go like compelled to make that, to even comment on his post?
Yeah. Well, there was a laundry list of them. Really, for me, it was the social media ads and the billboards really caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back into the traditional world, I've been talking and spent a lot of money trying to get with outside companies to kind of, I'm like, well, I got to build a brand now, right? Because I've abandoned my sphere of influence. I'm a secret agent at this point. Nobody even knows, everybody I'm talking to, in the past, I would just say, oh, sorry, I'm working for an investment company. I don't do the traditional, real estate anymore. So I'm like, everybody either thinks I'm out of that game. I'm not even an option for any family or friends at this point. So I'm like, I need to rebuild the brand. I need to have, I need to let people know that I'm back in the traditional world. And I want to do that effectively. And I want that to be able to spread, across the internet, which is how everybody finds, everything nowadays, not just their agents, just anything in general. So I'm like, I've been getting with all these companies. I'm like, the amount of money they wanted me to spend and the amount of money I did spend, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, the fact that that a brokerage would provide that for their agents, and I'm like, okay, like this, it can't just be free. There's no way, like, it's got to be extra money, or they're, even if you generate a lead from one of their social media ads, they're going to take 50% of that or something. So that's why I was like, okay, I need clarity, and that was like that first conversation we had. I'm like, okay, I'm a control freak. I need to know everything about this, and then once 20 minutes in, I'm like, this is just incredible. Like I just never thought a brokerage would provide this for their agents, and it's just a built-in benefit you have.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, the sustainability. I mean, that question got brought up so much that we actually had to put it on the slide deck.
Yeah.
Because just to start talking about it before, because even if they weren't going to ask the question, they're probably going to ask question one. But two, if they weren't going to ask the question, then they still were probably thinking it.
Yeah.
Like, how is this? It's too good to be true. It's too sustainable. We like to talk about it like the I think it was was it Roger Bannister? Is that his name? The guy who ran the first 4-minute mile, right?
Oh yeah.
No one ever did it, so you couldn't do it.
Right.
You couldn't do it. Well, no one ever did it, and so no one's ever done what Epique's doing. Right? So people just in their mind go, well, you can't be done.
Right.
But just what I've seen and what has really hit me over probably the last month or so is that a lot of teams or brokerages, a lot of times they lead with how much can we make, followed up by what do we have to do in order to make that much.
Right.
And what I keep seeing over and over again as these benefits just roll out, I'm like, it would appear that Epique is going, how much can we give, and what will we have left over after that, like for us to live on? Because one of the things is, and a lot of people don't know this, because we'll get like, oh, you guys are just a ripoff of EXP, you're just a clone, all that. It's fine, I'll take it. That's where I was for 5.5 years, and I loved every minute of it. But what most people don't understand is that most of the offshoots of EXP like this, most of the other rev share models, and that's pretty much what they're saying, cloud brokerage rev share model, all of them have built it to get in early, so they are at the top of the rev share platform,
right?
Where Josh, Chris, and Janice, the co-founders, they aren't they're not part of it. They don't have a position in the rev share spot. So
Yeah.
when you see that and you hear Josh talk about we're growing as a byproduct of having happy and productive agents, like, and people that are excited about what's there. So yeah, I know it's difficult to kind of just lay it down to one thing.
For sure.
But like you said, like social media ads and things like that are, that's big for a lot of agents that, like, for me, I've ran into a couple different things doing social media ads. One is I learned how to do it, and then 2 weeks later, everything changes.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to be an agent and then still learn how to do algorithm, all this, and it's always changing, and it's always what worked last week isn't working this week. But then you also get some agencies out there like, oh yeah, it's gonna be $3,500. Okay, that's a manager account, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then a minimum of 500 in ad spend. So now you're going, okay,
right.
Now do I throw like $4 or $5 at this thing?
That's exactly where I was at, and that's exactly what I was doing. And then I'd see their ads, and they would just be like, "Oh, do you want a list of homes that aren't on the market?" And I'm like, "Okay." So now you're just promising that I'm just going to find these magical homes that are on the market. I'm just starting off on the wrong foot with these people that I'm going to get, and they're going to, even if I get a hold of them, they're going to be like, "I want that magical list of homes, the off-market homes that you have," and I'm like, I don't have those homes, but I was paying thousands of dollars to run those ads because these companies, that they just kind of they want your upfront, they want to manage your ads. And so I was like, okay, so the fact that a brokerage would do it, especially with Josh's background coming from where he went, that's an incredible asset to have too, right? Because it's like the CEO, he already knows how these algorithms work and how often they change, and how can we tweak our ads for our agents to best target who they want or who's a fit for them.
Yep.
So it's really nice. It's really nice having that. I also love that PowerCon when Josh said, he was like, I just called up the accountant, was like, all right, how many benefits can we afford? Like, what is the budget per agent, and how many benefits can we just slot into here? That was like a thing with the sustainability he was talking about. He was like, we already have it budgeted out per agent, how much we can spend. And then we go negotiate like hell to get all these benefits within that. And so, and also have enough room where we can continue just adding more. And, as we saw with the vet, telehealth and all that, like all these benefits, 7 or 8 that just keep coming along, and it's like there's still room in the tank for some more. So I'm excited to see what else is coming. And I have the same sentiment as you do. Like, I feel responsible when I see, like, a lot of my agent friends, like, some of them have been with companies for 15 to 20 years, but right now they're just struggling because what they were doing 15 years ago is not what works now. Obviously, you have a great book of business and a sphere of influence, but that can only go so far in the digital world. And especially with a lot of things happening in the real estate world, that you're going to have an online presence. You're going to have somebody, hopefully a brokerage like Epique, that's there to back you and realizes, they got to change with the future, and they're there to make that transition super easy for you.
Yeah. And what's to go back on the negotiation part is how many vendors came up on stage and were like, "You guys better thank Josh. He is a fearless negotiator." And because the thing is, like, if anything speaks volumes for where we are headed, is looking at vendors get their price so low to where they meet it because they know they're going to have the ability to grow with us.
Right.
So that's like when you see that, those are things I always look at, like the outside, like what is something that doesn't necessarily make sense for like the direct correlation, but then you're like, these guys are all like planning to grow with us. So that's how we're getting these, for Lofty, for instance, we're pretty soon should be their largest brokerage as a customer.
Yeah, and for companies like that to basically take a huge pay cut on their end because they believe in the vision. 99% of companies aren't going to do that, especially when it's high level with a CEO, meeting with a CEO. They're going to look at it and say, why would we give you a break? If you guys are a brokerage that could fail, in 2 years, you guys could be gone, and then we've lost out on all this money. These companies are fully bought in. They're like, we see the vision. We love what you're doing. Of course, we'll discount our product because we realize you guys are going to grow immensely, and that's only going to benefit us, and we're going to grow with you, and we're going to help you guys grow as well. Like, even just the minimal changes that Lofty made when Lofty was first, partnered with Epique, until what they announced at PowerCon, it was just like adding, the domains and the customizable websites that weren't a part of Epic before, and now they are. Like
Yeah.
even Lofty is adjusting; they're offering more now too
Yeah.
for the same price. It's not costing anybody anymore. It's like they're just bringing on more benefits and so obviously they've bought in, and a ton of other companies have as well.
Yeah. No, it's super exciting. And on that note of exciting, like what has you most excited for, let's say, the next like 1 to 3 years, for the future of not just Epic, but your future within Epic?
Yeah. Realistically, is just like sharing Epic. Really, that has me super excited. I've always said, like, when I got into real estate, like, a lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
I wanted to help people, like
Mhm.
you have the visions of, and everybody that's, had these clients, you hand them the keys and it's the best day of their life,
Yeah.
the best, whether it's they're getting a house for their family, now they go from an apartment, now their kids have a backyard, their pets have a backyard to run around. Like, so that was always like, something I got enjoyment out of, and, fulfillment out of my job. I always wanted to be in something where it was fulfilling to me. And that's kind of another reason why I was kind of sick of the investment world, right? I was like, there's no fulfillment here. Like, this is,
Yeah.
it's a numbers game. Mentally, it was stimulating, but I'm like, I want to get back to that feeling of helping families. So now I'm kind of getting that same sentiment with Epic as a brokerage. Like, now I can help other agents.
Yeah.
And like my mom, like, she's always ran teams and been mentors from people, and I've just seen the fulfillment that she got from helping others grow their business and making them successful. And now I'm like, now I can proudly share this company that I'm a part of. And not only will the company help them grow, but, like, I also can be involved,
Mhm.
and maybe build my own teams. And now I'm 13 years in. I got licensed when I was 18. Now I have that wisdom and that knowledge, and I can partner that with a company that has the same exact vision that I do, from top down. So realistically, like, just the next 1 to 3 years, I'm looking forward to just sharing the word of Epic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just sharing the vision, and seeing how, in trying and tough times for real estate agents, like, how many agents I can help out, and change their lives, and in turn, hopefully change mine.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. Like, that's one of my favorite things too. Is just the ability to collaborate. Across the country. I joke. This is a joke, or I joke about this with people, but it's true as well. Is that one of the hardest parts about what I do on a daily basis is remembering what time zones people are in, because
Oh,
I'll at 9 o'clock at night here, I'll be, oh, I just thought of something. Let me send this over. Boom. And I'm like, oh, it's midnight there. I hope I didn't wake them up,
yeah,
or like, so that, like that, I kind of joke about that, but that's one of the funnest parts, is you get the chance to collaborate with people all over the country.
for sure. And a lot of people, especially in a business like real estate, where it's like, even when you're in the office and you're kind of just bouncing ideas off of people, like, what a lot of agents don't understand is, like, some agents just look at you as competition, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you are in a competition with every other agent in your market, and I know, like, in Las Vegas alone, we have like 17,000 agents. Like, it's kind of dog eat dog. And so I've always hated that part, right? Is like, I'm always like, oh, if I have any tips or tricks for marketing or
Yeah.
or anything, I'm happy to share it. But there's some agents out there that are like, I'm not giving you any info,
Yeah.
And so now, like, when you have Epic, like, being able to be, engaging and collaborating with people across the country, like, one, it takes that out of it, right? Because it's like somebody in Massachusetts or wherever, Florida, maybe,
Yeah.
they're not your competition, and you can come together, and you can collaborate, and it's super nice. I had a similar situation, like, with Steve. Like, we were hopping on a Zoom call with an agent from Florida. He's in Chicago. I'm here,
Yeah.
and so, like, we're sending out Zoom invites, and I'm like, are we doing Central Time? Are we doing
Yeah.
Eastern? I'm in Pacific. It ended up being like an 8 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's like 5
5 in the
a.m.
morning.
for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm getting up early, and so yeah, that's something that I've ran across just in my short time. Just like, it's really cool, collaborating, and yeah, being with people virtually that are other parts of the country that, they're not a competition. They're, it's all one team.
Yeah. No, I love that. It is amazing. So if anybody wants to contact you, whether it is to buy or sell a home here in Las Vegas, or a referral out, or even to talk to you about Epic, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
My phone, really. I'm always answering the phone. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Kyle Harris. You'll see me. That's pretty much, I'm one of those agents that lives by their phone. You know,
Yeah.
you never know. You get the random phone call. I'm answering all of them, even all the spam ones I'm going through nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the life of a real estate agent, whether it's midnight or 5 a.m.
Yeah,
like work is work. I have no set hours. So yeah, absolutely, just reach out. Directly to my phone number. I guess I can plug. Should I plug the phone number?
Yeah.
So I'm at area code 702-813-8415. Contact me at any time, literally. Call or text. I know there's a lot of text only people out there. I am one of those agents that still answers their phone, believe it or not. I'll never be the guy that says, "Oh, you can only text me." No, I pick up my phone. So yeah.
Awesome, Kyle. Welcome to Epic.
Yeah,
very excited to be partnered with you.
Absolutely,
and looking forward to what we can crush together.
Can't wait.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.